Hey everybody, I'm the punk with the camera, and today we're going to be doing a few things ourselves. In this episode, we're going to be talking all about punk rock zines. If you didn't notice, we have released the 10th anniversary repressing of the Taxpayers' amazing album, To Risk So Much for One Goddamn Meal. Didn't do the Days and Days line that time. But one of the available merchandise options for that repressing was a reissue of the zine from one of its original releases. I was sent all the files, and I was told, put this together, make it happen, and I was like, oh shit, I've never made a zine before. So I went on YouTube like anyone else does, and I was like, how do you do this? And all the videos were not what I was expecting. So this is a straight to the point, no bullshit. This is how you make a punk rock zine. We're gonna go right into my editor right away, and I'll show you exactly how to make this zine. I'll also download all of the links into a Google Drive so that way you can download them and follow along. But let's go into this. We'll be using Adobe Photoshop. You can use any photo editor for this. This is very simple. On a scale to 1 to 10, I believe this is like a 2. So let's do this. Alright everybody, so we're in our editor. I'm using Photoshop, but you can use pretty much any photo editor because this is a very easy, simple task to do. All you have to do is understand the theory and have your pages ready, and you will be solid. It's like copy, paste, boom, done. First things first, let's make our template. All we're doing is we're taking a regular sheet of printer paper and putting all the information on horizontal. So your width needs to be 11, your height needs to be 8.5. Sometimes you have custom templates already set up in programs like Photoshop, and all you have to do is change the orientation. And make sure you have a high resolution DPI so that way there's plenty of information that can be saved. When you zoom out of this, it just looks like the horizontal side of the paper. And on this zine, for our template, which you can download and follow along and make sure that you completely understand this, is the Taxpayers' To Risk So Much for One Goddamn Meal. Not only did they make a great record, but they made a great zine. This one is 22 pages long, so it'll be a little bit tricky to get correct, but with some simple theory on how this comes together, you'll completely understand it. Okay, so a little bit of theory about how to put these pages together. The first thing you want to consider is the orientation, and the second thing you want to consider is how it's going to be read. So whenever you make your pages, you want to follow the rule of first page to last page. So your first page would be your front cover, and you want to make sure it's on your left side, and your last page is going to be your back cover, clearly, and it'll be on your right side. And you'll follow this pattern of first page, last page, left, right, the entire way through until you reach the center. That's no problem. The thing that is a problem is considering what is going to be printed on the A side and the B side of the piece of paper, because when you send this to be printed, it'll go through the printer and then come back and be when it comes back through the printer, it'll be printed on the back side. So if you don't follow orientation correctly, you'll be finding that not only is your zine reading like a manga, but the right side pages are actually reading upside down. So how do you solve that? You want to set a rule of the A side and the B side of the page, because you'll be able to get 4 pages out of a piece of paper. This is a page right here, 1 page, 2 page, but then there's the back of this that could be printed on. So the rule of thumb is that any A page or front-facing page would be upside down. And this would be the A page. So if it was the B page, or what we'd be printing on the back half of the sheet of paper, we'd want it to be orientated correctly. So for the B side of the first binded page, we would have page 1 and page 22. Now these are all labeled in the Google Drive, and hopefully it's really easy to follow along. But basically we're going to be creating a collage of binded pages. Each single binded page will have the first page and the last page on the A side, followed by the following first page and last page of the B side. So in total, including the front and back cover pages, there are 24 pages associated with this zine. With each actual printed sheet of paper yielding 4 pages, we're going to have 6 sheets of printed binded pages put together to make this book happen. So as long as you actually go out and you follow the rules of making each page from the first page to the last page until you reach the center, as well as making sure that whatever you're going to be considered the front half or the A side being flipped upside down, you'll see when you print these out and you staple them together that they will print out and look great. So Let's take a moment now, and I want you to pause this video and take all the information that's in the Google Drive and try to assemble this yourself in a editor. If you are confused at all, rewatch the video or check the binded page tab to make sure that your version is looking as good as the finished copies, and then continue the video so that way we can show you how to print these out properly and how to assemble them. Okay, so at this point, I'm assuming that you've paused the video and you feel comfortable in your abilities to assemble the pages correctly, following the rules of making the front side of a printed piece of paper upside down and the back side regular right side up. So the next thing that we want to do is figure out how we're printing this. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is get our 6 pages separated and printed properly. We're going to have A and B, A and B, A and B, hopefully labeled and properly put together, following the rules. But all you have to do is select the first page, combine them in Acrobat, select them again in Acrobat, hit combined, and then boom, they're together. From here, all you're going to do is you're going to hit Control P. You're going to want to make sure that you're printing on both sides. And usually I'll do fit or shrink to oversized pages. Fit usually leaves a little bit of a white border, and since this design already has one, that sounds like it would go really well. And then I'd hit print. And then I would continue to do the exact same thing for the remaining pages. So let's go and print all of these out and put them together in the studio. I'll see you there. Okay, so we are in the distro right now, and there's a few things that I want to show you for the last part of this. One of the biggest things that you need to get or borrow from like an Office Max is a long arm stapler. What it's used for is for stapling the bindings onto different pieces of work. So as you can see, it could go all the way to almost across the entire thing. I think this one's set to go as far as 30 centimeters if I push this button back. So yeah, it could well go through it. A regular stapler would have some difficulty stapling through here. You might bend the staples, and it's probably a good idea to try to get it done right the first time. The other thing is I wanted to show you what it looks like whenever you make a mistake in the actual editing process. So these two, in the editing process. So these two books right here are the exact same book. They were printed with the same paper, but the difference is one was done incorrectly and one was done correctly. This one opens from the right to the left and reads left to right with no problems. The pages are on the same thing, nothing is upside down, but it kind of gets tricky when you get to this one. See, the first page opens the wrong way, and then any inside page is actually upside down. And what's going on here is whenever the first page or the front page or the A page is sent to the printer, it is then retracted back through the printer to pick onto the back. So that's why you have to make sure that first page is upside down, so that way when you put them together in a book, they read properly. But this is a mistake, and we can do better than that. Today, we're going to do it right. So right here I have all of my pages. I usually use either a Zine if I have one completed already, or the PDF to figure out what needs to go where. But basically, you want the bottom page to be your front and back cover, and you want the last center page to be your centerfold if there is one, or just whatever would be the middle of the book. And then just go through them and make sure all the pages line up. And the last thing that you have to do is put them together with your long arm stapler. I usually do 3 staples. And then boom, we've created a punk rock zine of the taxpayers to risk so much to live for, oh my god, I can never say that name right. The taxpayers to risk so much for one damn meal. Anyways, I'm very excited about this. I'm so proud of everyone who purchased a vinyl pre-order. And please, at home, show me how this worked for you. Show me your failures. Show me your triumphs. If you want to get into zine making because of this video, show me what you make in the future. It doesn't matter if it's a few years down the line. I believe in you. So keep at it, keep trying, keep it DIY, and I'm going to go to an outro, I suppose.